Hello my fellow space engineers, I'm Sam, the fat middle-aged man, and welcome to The Fat Cave. Today we're going to go on a journey together, a journey through our own limitless imaginations. So it was suggested to me on a previous video that we should talk about potential mod ideas that don't currently exist. This got me thinking, and I've come up with a couple of different ideas that I think you'll enjoy. Let me know what you think of these, I'd really love to hear. Also, feel free to submit your own ideas below. Who knows, maybe someone in the modding community will be out there and catch on and help bring your idea to life. Anyway, without further ado, let's crack on with today's video. So the first idea on our list is actually the one that kickstarted this video, binoculars. So in theory, this one should be super simple to create. I'm thinking either a handheld tool like the welder or a drill or something like that, or probably better so that you can hold a welder, drill, gun, whatever at the same time, maybe an alternative first-person camera perspective. So if you think about it, the third-person camera, you can use that, you can zoom out on there and you can scope out ores, enemies, terrain, that sort of thing. This is just the same thing but in reverse. Like you would zoom in using the camera rather than be zooming out. Of course, the other way, if we were using a tool instead of a different camera, we could have upgrades to it. So I'm thinking something like night vision, infrared, or maybe some kind of targeting mechanic like with the new custom turrets. Now that would be really cool. So let's be honest. Who here thinks that the engineer's torch is a bit shit? But whenever I first drop down to a planet and I'm digging around, I tend to find that unless what I'm digging is on the same horizontal plane, like right in front of me, I can't see a thing because the torch doesn't follow the player around like it should all the time. Probably just a bug, but it's still quite annoying. So I got to thinking upgrades for the torch. What if we had it kind of like Fallout Pip-Boy, where it's more of an area of effect rather than a cone? Obviously the drawback would be that you're less stealthy because you're just a beacon of light in the wilderness, but at least you can see what's going on around you. You can sort of, there's a nice balanced trade-off. What about also being able to change the color and intensity of the light like you can with a normal block light? That would be interesting. Okay, my next idea here, you can kind of do in the game. Well, no, you can do it in the game, not kind of. You're basically just using a sorter. So, whenever I'm building a base, one of the first things I tend to do is build a dedicated disassembler. Like once I've got established and stuff. And essentially, it's just a sorter with an assembler set to permanently disassemble everything that's in there. And then it pumps out the resources back into the system. So what I'm thinking is a block that just does this for you. Just it looks like the assembler, but all it does is whatever gets fed into it gets disassembled, turned into resources. Like you could argue because you can do this without a mod, why have a mod? But there's also a mod for just about everything else in the game. So why not have a mod? That's my question. So like I said, something looking kind of like the assembler or even the basic assembler, maybe there's an upgrade to it and you tell it what you want to collect. The same as the sorter, except that it also allows you to pull things out of it if you need to. Yeah, that's a good point. What if it uses the assembler model, but you can also add in things like the yield or the power efficiency module? So you could maybe it doesn't give the full amount of resources without any modules. So you add the yield module to give you some more back. Could make it more difficult, could make it more interesting. Are you sick and tired of being locked in the same star system map? Do you yearn to explore the far reaches of the galaxy? Well, fear not, friend. This next mod idea has got you covered. Wow, my hand is really white. I'm like a ghost! So for this one, I'm thinking something along the lines of the map screen in Mass Effect, where you can travel between different systems, and each one of those systems is procedurally generated, or something like that. And you can actually go out and find new things instead of just having the same shit on different planets, You could encounter different enemies, different factions, even different resources. So they'd probably have to be cut off from the rest of the system, like it would be in a different instance or a different scene, so that not everything's being rendered and causing the computer to grind to a halt. But I don't see why not. Just like having a different room, a different lobby. It's probably impossible, but I'm just hoping there's a big brain watching this that can piece something like that together. That would be incredible. Quite literally a game changer. So apparently this one already exists. What I had in mind was having some way to recharge your bottles without having to manually put them back into the O2H2 generator or the hydrogen oxygen tanks. Similar to a medbay. So while I was going through this list and checking out the Steam Workshop just to make sure that things didn't exist, I found this one. And it does actually work exactly how I wanted it to work. What it does is it uses the excess O2 and hydrogen in your suit to fill the bottle. So when you're charging yourself, it expels that into the bottle first and then charges you. Yeah, apparently this works from a cockpit as well, which is kind of cool. As long as it's connected to the conveyor system, obviously. I do highly recommend checking this one out. It might not be for you, but give it a try and see. And if you do like it, make sure you go over to their page, give them the thumbs up, give them a comment, show your love. Share the love. Also like and subscribe this video. Go on, why are you doing it? Why are you sharing the love? Share it with me as well. Go on. Okay, next up we have some kind of CCTV system or like camera monitor. This has been something I've wanted in Space Engineers for the longest time. We have cameras and we have the ability to see through those cameras. So why can't we put that image on screen on a console? Why? I mean, I get it's probably just a technical challenge, but it just annoys me that we can't do that. Someone needs to make that a thing. And if it's already a thing, someone needs to tell me what the thing is, because I need that thing. Okay? Okay, next up is some kind of tool switcher. Now, as it turns out, this one already also exists. I've kept it in here because I didn't know it existed, so maybe you didn't either. So what this one does, it actually works better than what I had in mind. What I had in mind was just something that you could scroll through the tools to find the one that you needed. But what this one does, actually, it finds the best tools in your inventory and you can scroll through them. So if you have a 2-star drill and a 3-star drill, when you scroll to the drill tool, it will automatically pick the 3-star drill. Go over to their page, give it a like, subscribe, add it to your mods, and just, Okay, this one does not already exist, as far as I could tell. So similar. Okay, in the same way as the CCTV monitor, what this one would do is help improve the sensor in the game. Because at the minute, the sensor is great for, checking things within a certain short range. But if an enemy comes within 50 meters, they've probably already taken out your defenses. So what we want here is if the enemy comes within 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers, whatever the range is going to be, we want it to set off an alarm in the base or some sort of warning system. If it used the laser antenna model and then worked like a tripwire, you could create a vast net of these things, and then you could sort of have some way of pinpointing maybe the new spotlights point to that location. Or maybe just something that picks up the antenna range. So if there's an enemy antenna within a certain distance, it sets off an alert. I don't know if this is something you can do within the base game. I don't think it is. I've not seen a way of doing it. And I couldn't find a mod that did this already. But if there is one, I suspect there might be. If there is one, let me know. If not, could be one that would be very good to use. Okay, we want maps. Okay, maps are a gamer's best friend. Without maps, we'd still be stuck playing on PS2. Maps have been a part of video games for a very long time. And Space Engineers strikes me as that sort of game that would definitely benefit from having some kind of map. Now, I get that it's a 3D environment and having a map of that is kind of difficult. I mean, if we had the CCTV monitor thing and we could have a drone follow us around and track the ground, that could be an idea. But what I kind of want is, I want to be able to press M on the keyboard, open up the map, see where what the local terrain looks like, see what resources are nearby, what enemies are nearby, if there's any bases or structures I can go and raid, that sort of thing, you know. And a minimap would also be great. We'll come back to the minimap. Like, I want to just it doesn't even matter if it's something simple. Like, if it's just a contour map, like a height map of the surrounding area that you can put your own markers on, that would be fantastic. That would be amazing. You know, then I wouldn't lose half of the shit that I lose when I forget to set a GPS point. Although I suppose if you're not setting a GPS point, you're probably also not placing a marker. So it's just, that's still something I'm going to up on, but that's on me. Anyway, minimap. There is a mod that kind of does the minimap thing. It's actually called SE Minimap Radar. This one kind of tackles the 3D thing in a very cool way. So it's, if you've ever played Elite Dangerous is the only other one coming to mind, but if you've played Elite Dangerous, you know you get the little map on the center of your console. You got the arrows, different directions, and all that sort of thing. That's very handy. Now it also lets you highlight a point on the minimap and use those coordinates. Like, you can either mark those coordinates in your GPS, or you can jump to them if you've got a jump drive assigned. That's incredible. Like, I didn't know this mod exists. I've already subscribed, downloaded it. I suggest you do the same. Just check it out. If you like it, again, go over, give them some love. But yeah, that's a cool one. It kind of gets around some of the difficulties, but yeah, I still want a map. Come on. Someone out there can make me a map. Now, this next one's kind of a crowd splitter. I mumble a lot. I apologize. Having something that can project an active camouflage field around your ship or around a certain area would be incredible. It would be overpowered, not fair in a lot of situations, but it would be incredible. Obviously, it would need some kind of balancing. So what I'm thinking is a mod that gives you, 1, a block that gives you active camo, 2, a block that can disrupt that in a certain range, like the gravity field. Okay, you've got a sphere or a cube, and within that range, you're affected by gravity. So in a similar way, we'd have a block that has a certain sphere or area of influence that acts like a disruptor. So any invisible ships within that area are revealed, and then obviously can be targeted by guns or actually seen by players. Now, not only that, maybe we have the bigger your ship or the bigger the field, the bigger the power drain, just to kind of help balance that out a little bit. Maybe it costs a hell of a chunk of resources, platinum, uranium, maybe not uranium, platinum and gold certainly, maybe cobalt, maybe it uses all of the really huge pain in the ass materials to get hold of, you know what I mean? And obviously the bigger your ship is, the more power it's going to use, or maybe there's a bigger version of the block. Yeah, likewise, what I think is if you had both the cloak generator on your ship and the disruptor field, it would cancel each other out. So you could only have one of them turned on at a time. Obviously, if you're cloaked, you're not going to want to turn on the disruptor because that's going to turn your cloak off. And if your disruptor's turned on, if your disruptor's turned on, your cloak's not going to work. Now, this will be good for those people who just want to go and do stuff. You know, I just want to I just want to go and mine some resources in space without getting blown apart. If I want to go and raid somebody's ship or stuff while they're offline, and they've got one of these on their base, like the Disruptor, happy days. You know, I'll get there and I'll get blown to shit. The power drain thing could be interesting, because then you could leave your invisibility field on, but you're going to come back, you're going to have a lot less power, a lot less uranium maybe. It does mean though, if you have got enough power to stay invisible for a day, 2 days, a week, whatever, then those resources are being drained, meaning you need to go out and get more. So you're not just sat in your base hoarding stuff, you know? Yeah, I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts on this one. Make sure you post them down in the comments below. Now I do have a bonus one for you here. This actually should be in the base game, but I'll settle for a mod. In the control panel, sometimes it's a nightmare to find which things belong to your ship, and being able to highlight things, like when you've got 4 or 5 ships connected to a base and you just want to change the color of the light, for example, you have to scroll down the list and pick out everything that's not yellow, orange, green, blue, purple, whatever this connected subgrid is. And if somebody's merged to the base for whatever reason, you're going to be changing the colors of their ship too, which is not ideal. So having some way to sort or filter or whatever just on the control panel menu would be a godsend. Someone can do that. Alright guys, if you've enjoyed today's video, be sure to smash the shit out of that like button. Subscribe so you don't miss any of this. And be sure to check out the new Patreon as well for more upcoming stuff real soon. Remember, if you have any other mod ideas or suggestions, put them down in the comments. Likewise, if you've got any suggestions for other videos that you want me to do, post those as well. Other than that, I've nothing left to say other than keep on being awesome, and I'll see you in the next one.